Welcome back, Wicked Friends, and welcome to episode number 5 of our Christmas in July series. So in today's video, we're going to be making a very cute diorama box with a vintage Christmas ornament box. Now, as you can see, I have one right here. Mine is a larger size. Obviously there's no ornaments in it. I've taken the ornaments out. I've been using the ornaments in other projects, but I didn't want to throw the box away because the box is just a cool vintage box from probably the, I would say early 80s, late 70s, early 80s maybe. It had a bunch of flocked ornaments in this one, but you can use any type of other box for this project. So for this project, I have designed a new kit. It will be available up on my Etsy as a digital, so you'll be able to download it and print it out and use it. But the kit is going to actually consist of an actual copy of this box. It's not quite as big. This box, 14 inches by 10 inches. Now you can definitely print it that size if you have a printer that prints that large of paper. However, the actual dimensions for the kit is going to be an 8.5 by 11 or a standard US sheet of like copy paper. However, you want to use a cardstock when you print out this kit as well. And then you can use the template of the cover of the box and put it on another box of your choice. So you'll actually have an exact copy of this box to use in your own design. Now, in addition to the box cover, I'm including a bunch of other vintage papers and a combination of a lot of other pieces that I have put into this kit. They all include authentic vintage pieces, and one of them will be this Christmas tree. It's a vintage Christmas tree, paper Christmas tree, and little Christmas tree ornaments, and then some little vintage holly berries for decorating. But this is also a page that will be included in the kit. So if you don't have an actual bottle brush tree, which I'm going to use a bottle brush tree for my project, you'll be able to do this entire project with everything from the kit. I'm not going to use the entire kit for this project. I'm only going to use bits and pieces of it because I'm also going to be using other things that I have, such as this little sleigh that I thrifted. It's just a little metal sleigh. I think this actually came from the Dollar Tree. I remember them having these little ornaments at the Dollar Tree, but I found it at the thrift store, actually Goodwill bins. So I want to use this. And then I have a bunch of other little things as well. I have some little candy canes. I have some little glittered poinsettia. I have a little wooden toy soldier ornament, a little wreath, and just a few other little bits and bobs here that I want to use in the project. But I will also be using quite a few pieces from the kit itself. And one of the pieces is this cute little fireplace that you're going to cut out and fold it up, and it's going to be a little 3-dimensional fireplace that you can put in your diorama that we're making. So this is in the kit, as well as a bunch of other things. I'm also going to be using one of my little mini golden book items. That's not in this kit, but that is in another kit. We've got Santa and a rocking horse. We've got a bunch of little die cuts, little toys. We have a fire for the fireplace, December 25th. More toys, lots of little vintage decorating die cuts. And then we have these little paper gift box templates that make actual gift boxes when we fold them up. And then we also have, so I have a couple things here. I have this Santa Claus right here, which is in the kit, so you can use this one, or you can use one of your own. I also have this plastic Santa. So I might use him in my project. Like I said, I'm using bits and pieces of the actual kit, and then I'm also using some other things. I might use him if I can fit him in. He is a vintage plastic Santa. But then I also have 2 different Santas that come with the kit. We have Santa with his bag of goodies, and then we also have Santa in his sleigh and a few of his reindeer. So I probably will be using these reindeer as well. because I have a sleigh that I'm going to use. But all of these items, plus some other ones that I've added, are going to be in the kit. So you'll be able to make this whole project with the kit, But then again, feel free to just add in or incorporate your own decorations and stuff that you feel that you'd like to use. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to line the background of my diorama, which will be the back of my box, with some paper. Now this just happens to be a sheet of Very Merry Christmas scrapbook paper that I actually had, and I'm trying to clean out things that I have before I print new things. However, you will also be receiving a digital of a background print that you can use for your kit. It's a little bit different than this, but it's like a digital newspaper backing. So you can use that, and that will be included in the kit. But what I am going to do is I am just going to quickly measure this out. I'm not going to measure it. I'm actually just going to use it, use the box as a template, and then just make a mark and cut it, because it doesn't need to be exactly the size of my box. If it's a little bit smaller, that's okay. So I'm just going to make a little mark where I'm going to want to cut. So let me go ahead and cut this down. All right, so I cut my paper to size, and I'm just making sure that it fits on the background of my box here. So I'm going to be using my Fabrifix on the back side of my paper, and I'm going to just go ahead and glue this right down. All right, so I have my backing glued down, but what I'm also doing right now, and this will vary depending on what you use for a box, is I'm making sure that all of my little flaps, like my top and bottom flap, are glued down as well, because I don't want to hang this up and then all of a sudden have the bottom flap like flap open. So I'm just making sure that those little flaps, which are these flaps right here, are glued down to the inside. I'm just putting a little bit of glue just on the inside there, and just making sure that my top is sealed up and my bottom is sealed. Okay, so now that we have our box base all done, I'm gonna set it aside because we're gonna start to assemble some of the pieces that are gonna go in it, and then we'll start to decorate. So the first thing I am going to put together is this fireplace. Now, I went ahead, played around with this. Now again, this is an actual vintage image that came from a vintage children's Christmas book. I digitally enhanced it. I sized it so that it would work into the dimensions of the box that we're going to be using. And then I went ahead and uploaded it into the kit and printed it out and cut it with my Cricut. However, you can definitely fussy cut this with your own scissors. There's a lot of little pieces to this, and there weren't really great instructions on putting this together, so you have to kind of play around with it a little bit. So that's why you can see I have folded this up already to make sure that it all fits together and can be put together properly. So it does all work. I haven't glued it yet because I'm going to do that with you guys. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a ruler and some sort of a bone folder or something that you can use to fold these little small pieces. So like I mentioned, there's a lot of very small folds and flaps in this fireplace that you're going to need a tool to help you fold. So basically what I did was anywhere there's a dotted line, I scored and prepared it to be folded. Now some of the folds are folding in and some of them are folding out. So this is going to be basically what it looks like when it's complete. You're going to have a 3D, and it's going to come down like this. So you're going to have a flat top up here. This is going to come out like this. So this is going to be the top of your mantle. And it's going to be 3D, and then your sides are going to be glued together like this, and this little piece gets glued in. So I'm just going to start. Like I said, this isn't really anything that I can show you how to do exactly. You're going to have to kind of just play around with this on your own until you get the folds right. But what I did again was I kind of pre-scored everything with a scoring tool so that it made it easier to fold. And then I used my ruler to make the actual folds. So this front piece right here is kind of where I started. So I flipped it over. I put my ruler right along where it was going to be folded, and then I used my scorer and I just pushed those edges up, a lot like you do when you're folding the edges of my Shiny Bright boxes in my Shiny Bright ornament box kit. So I folded that one first. Then I looked and I saw that the base of the fireplace folds the opposite way. So I flipped it around and I folded the base up just like I did. Folded it up, put a fold in it like this. While this was facing upright, I did the same with the bottom of the mantle. Put my ruler here, folded it up. It is marked. This little template is marked with all dotted lines to show you where all the fold marks are. And then there is only a few spots that you have to go in and snip to cut. So I'll show you those as we go along. All right, so I folded everything so it was in the shape that I needed it to be folded. You're also gonna need to fold the sides in, and you're gonna need to fold the top down and the top side pieces down as well, okay? So you'll see it will start to take shape and it will start to look like something. It's just a little bit tedious. Okay, so the only spots that I noticed that I needed to cut that I didn't cut out with my Cricut cutter was this bottom portion right here. There's a little spot right here that I had to snip along the corner to make this little flap right here, and the same on the other side. And then the only other spot was up here where there was another little flap. I had to cut in between that little flap and then the top of the mantle. So I did a little cut like right in here, very tiny, and on the other side as well. So those are the only spots that you actually need to cut that you might not realize you have to cut. So then once everything is folded and all your little pieces are cut, now you can start to glue these little pieces together. Now, also I want to mention that there is a section on each side where it says bend back and paste. This white portion right here is what's going to get glued to the back wall of your box. Okay, so you want to make sure those are folded in and not out, because you're going to put glue on these eventually and paste this whole thing right to the back of your box. Okay, so don't do anything with those yet. We'll do that when we put this in the box. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is start to glue these together. So I am using, again, my Fabrifix glue. This is really good for holding paper. The only thing is with this is, since it is paper, we're going to have to hold it for a second. So there's going to be a few breaks in this video right now while I'm waiting for glue to dry. So I'm going to take a little bit of the glue, and it actually tells you on the template, put paste here. So you're pasting here and pasting here where it's white. So I'm putting a little glue there and a little glue there. And then I'm folding this flap over, and it's going to be glued to the other side. So basically anywhere there's red brick, the red brick is going to cover up the white paste marks. And it's going to be the same thing on the other side. Now I have these little dollar store clamps that I used just to hold the glue in place just until it sets enough so that it's not going to come undone, because I wanted to get that bottom portion glued down good before I glue the top. All right, so once the bottom is glued good, then what you want to do is when you're folding your mantle over, just make sure your little paste flaps on the side right here, there's one on each side, make sure those are folded in, because they tend to flop out and you don't want them sticking out, you want them in. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on those guys first. And then I'm going to put more glue on this side and on this side. Now, the only other thing that I have noticed, and I'm not sure why they did this, was they're a little bit too long. So I ended up having to fold these over at the top. I think they should have been cut off, but I'm just going to fold them over, both tops of these side paste parts. And then we're going to take this brick area and we're going to just hold that right down into the glue over there. and do the same on the other side. So like I mentioned, wherever there's white spots, the white spots are going to be covered up by brick. Okay, so now your little fireplace should be glued together and be three-dimensional, just like this, and you'll have these two little flaps on the back that are going to get glued to our back of our box. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, the kit comes with a little tree that you can put together. There's 3 different parts to the tree. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you how to put this little tree together. It will need to be fussy cut, but I am going to actually be using a little bottle brush tree that I have in my actual box for my decor. So it's going to be about the same size as this little tree that I have that you can make out of paper. But I'm going to show you just how to put this together. So again, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut out all of the green. So fussy cut out all of the green. And again, you know that I hate fussy cutting, but I'm doing this for you guys so that you will know how to put this together. Sometimes these little vintage patterns that you find aren't the easiest. So, and this is actually a reproduction from an authentic vintage pattern. It's just, I cleaned it up a little bit and resized it so that it would work with this project. All right, so I'm gonna fussy cut all of those little ridges. Okay, so it took a little bit, but I got all 3 pieces fussy cut out. And I'm also, before I start folding anything, I'm gonna distress these up with a little bit of my archival ink. And I'm also gonna distress up my fireplace as well. I like to do that to make things look a little bit more authentically vintage, even though these are reproduction vintage items. I still like them to look on the older side. So I'm just going around all of the edges and just distressing up all of those little white cut lines and anything that you're gonna see. It just, I don't know, to me, it makes it look a little bit nicer. So I'm using the ground espresso from Archival Ink for my distressing on this. And I will say, if you like fussy cutting, this is the project for you. I usually do not like fussy cutting. I usually prefer to do things on my Cricut, but this wasn't too bad. And there's lots of fussy cutting in this project because if you're going to use the paper tree, there's all of these little miniature paper ornaments that you can fussy cut out. Okay, now they're hard to see, but there are also fold lines in these tree pieces. And you kind of have to look closely to see them, but most of them are about an inch. They're about an inch in from the side and then they fold to the corner. So what I'm gonna do, just to make it a little bit easier on me, is I'm going to, again, just score with my score tool on these lines, and then I'll flip it over and fold these folds. And this is just to give the tree its shape. All right, so once I have all my scores, I'm gonna turn it around and you can see those score marks on the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my ruler on those score marks and we'll just fold in those marks. All right, so now we can go ahead and fold this little flap in, and then we'll put some glue on that little flap and we will glue that down. And we're gonna do the same for the top, middle, and bottom of the tree. All right, so now you should have 3 little cone-shaped trees, just like this, which you could use for just little individual trees if you wanted to do like a winter scenery or something like that with some little miniature deer. Or you can stack one on the next and make a little Christmas tree that looks like this. And then you can go ahead and decorate it with some of these little miniature paper ornaments. Now, like I said, I'm not going to be using this in the actual project. I'm going to be using a bottle brush tree like this one right here. But I just wanted to show you how to put this together because it is included in the kit. All right, so for my bottle brush tree, it's looking just a little plain as is. So we're gonna go and decorate this up just a little bit. I have some little red ribbon here. This is very thin. I think it's like 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, it's 1/8 of an inch ribbon, super thin. I think I got this at the Goodwill bins, like I get everything else, but you can get it at, yeah, it's 1/8 inch. You can get this thin ribbon at any craft shop or Joann Fabrics, Hobby Lobby, any place like that has thin ribbon. So we're just going to use my hot glue for this. And I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on one of my bristles here. And I'm going to stick my ribbon right in there. And we're just going to kind of wrap this ribbon around my tree. Just a couple of loops around until I get up to the top. And then we'll put another little bit of hot glue right at the top just to hold it in place. And then we'll snip it off. All right, so now we have a little bit of ribbon on the tree, which looks cute. And I also have some beads and some little, I think these were like little berries on picks. I'm going to pull them off the picks if I can. You can use anything, but I'm just gonna hot glue these randomly on. They look like little Christmas ornaments almost. You can use little pearl beads. You can use any type of little bead or whatever. Again, I'm trying to use up scraps that I have from other projects. And so I'm just putting a little bit of hot glue on, and then we'll just hot glue it right into our tree. So again, you can decorate these up however you want. You could even take these little paper ornaments that are in the digital and use some of these paper ornaments for decorations, which I might do that. There's a couple of really cute ones on here. All right, so I have quite a few little ornaments glued on to my tree here. I was trying to decide whether I wanted to put this little silver star at the top of the tree or use one of my little ornaments. And there's a really cute little double-sided angel that is in one of the little miniature ornament cutouts. So I think I'm gonna use that only because it is very vintage looking, and we're just gonna glue that right to the top of the tree. So I'm just gonna I'm actually gonna use hot glue for this because I don't want to wait for this to dry. I wanna work quickly. So let's see, let's find the front. I guess that will be the front of my tree. We'll just hot glue that little angel ornament right there. She is so cute. Look at that, she's tiny but cute, perfect for this project. All right, so there are also 4 individual wrapped gift box templates in this kit as well. So all you need to do is fold these up and glue them together to make cute little 3-dimensional gift boxes. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to fold all of these up. You're going to fold each one of the blue flaps down, and then there's going to be 6 other boxes. You're going to fold each one of the other 6 boxes at every side that it touches another box. They don't have the dotted lines, but it's pretty self-explanatory on how to fold these ones. So really, if you just line up the end of the box, and again, get your bone folder, and you're gonna fold the flaps and the box on each side, and you just work your way all the way around. So you'll fold those flaps up and then do the same on the other side. Just fold your box, fold the box flaps, and then do these sides. So then once you get everything folded, your box will go together pretty flawlessly, and you're just gonna glue all of those flaps to the side that it touches. And then you'll have a cute little gift box like that. So I'm actually gonna start with, I'll just start with one side, and we'll just start gluing. So again, hot glue is going to work fast on this project, but if you want it to really last, I would definitely use like a Fabrifix or craft glue that holds paper really well. All right, so I have all my little boxes all put together. They're so cute. They're already pre-wrapped, so you don't have to wrap them or anything, and it is authentic vintage wrapping paper. The prints that I used for the wrapping paper, this is actually one of my digital papers that I have in my Christmas paper kit, which I thought was really fun to use it in the actual Christmas boxes. All right, so we're going to start gluing some of these pieces right down to the box itself. And I'm going to start with my fireplace first, because that's kind of like our focal point. And again, you can use hot glue. I'm probably going to be using hot glue for the Christmas tree, but for the paper items, I'm going to definitely use my Fabrifix because I know it is nice and strong. Okay, so in my box, I'm actually going to glue my items not to the bottom of the box. I'm going to glue them just up a little bit, so that way they are noticeable. I don't want them hiding behind this front piece right here. So there's probably about an inch of space, if you look down in here, underneath that box or underneath that fireplace, that is just free space. But that's fine because we're gonna have garland go around here and other things, so you're not gonna see that anyhow. All right, so we're gonna glue that right to place, and then we're gonna take our Christmas tree, and I'm going to put the Christmas tree kind of off to the side over here. Like I said, I think I'm going to use hot glue on this, and I'm going to put some hot glue right down on the bottom of my base of my tree. And then I'll just do a few little dabs of hot glue on the back. All right, so once I've got those two bigger pieces in, now I'm going to figure out where I want to put these Christmas ornament boxes. Now, I think one I'm going to put right here, kind of on a diagonal next to the fireplace. And just like I do with all of my other ornaments, it's going to be kind of touch points. So I'm putting glue where they touch other things. So I'm going to glue on the corner here, and then maybe a little bit on the bottom. Like that, kind of just where it touches the box itself. And then I think we'll do another one. Let's see, I'm gonna put maybe this little box up here on top of the fireplace, maybe. I have this box right here with the bow on it. I think we'll put that one on top like that. So we'll put a little glue like that, put that one up on top. And then I have this one over here, which I think I'm gonna try to set over on this side of the fireplace. We'll do this one on the top of the fireplace. Right there maybe. Now I also want to incorporate some of my other objects, not just the little gifts. This is definitely turning out cute as it is. I have the little toy soldier here. He's got a little tag on his back. I just wanted to glue that down. I think I'm going to put him right here underneath the fireplace. So we'll just stick him just like that. Just kind of hold him there until he sets. Now I also have a little fire that comes in the kit. It's a little bit brighter of a fire. There's a fire already in the fireplace, but it's kind of dull, and I like the look of kind of like a bright fire. So I'm gonna just distress this up slightly because it's got some white edges on it. All right, so I was looking for some little dimensional sticky squares. I have some somewhere, but I can't find them. So instead, I'm gonna use two little square beads. And I'm gonna hot glue these right to the back of my fire, just so that when I set my fire on, it pops out a little bit and gives it a little like almost three-dimensional effect. So again, you can use those little 3-dimensional squares, the double-sided sticky squares. You can get them at Dollar Tree. I have them somewhere and I can't find them because I've been organizing and can't find anything. All right, and then we're just gonna stick that right to the front of our fire so it looks a little bit 3D. All right, also I have a little stocking here, so we're gonna hang that in front of the fire. So let's see, I'm gonna just put that, a little bit of glue right here, and then we'll stick our stocking on there where we want it. And then let's see what other goodies we have here. I have this wreath, and I really want to include that on the back of the wall behind the fireplace. And I also have this really cute little bow. So I'm going to glue this little bow. So I'll just put a little bit of glue in there just to hold it. And then we'll put the wreath on the wall. So we'll just put a little bit of glue around a couple spots, and we'll stick that right to the back of the wall. Now you could put a little bit of greenery in there also. There's lots of different things you could do to the wreath to jazz it up. I also have these little candy canes, so I might stick a candy cane in here somewhere. You could put a candy cane on the wreath. Let's see. I'm gonna also clip these little hooks off the top because these are for a charm, but I'm just clipping them off just so that I just have the candy cane without the hook at the top. And we'll find a spot for those, but I also have a little poinsettia. And I think I'm going to put this little poinsettia back here because I think it needs something else back there. So I think we'll just glue this right to the wall. We'll just glue that right back there. All right, so then we've got a candy cane we can kind of put here maybe. Let's put a candy cane right there in front of our little soldier. And then I think I'm going to put another candy cane on the other side as well. Maybe back here. Or I could put another one on the front here. Where do I want to put it? I think I'll put it right there. I'll put it right up against the back side of this Christmas present. Okay, there's all these other little fussy cuts that I have. I have a little tricycle, I have a little rocking horse, I have a jack-in-the-box and some drums. And so we want to find a spot for at least a few of these. I think I'm going to put the rocking horse in the background, kind of behind the presents. I don't know if you can see right there, right back there. So let me distress him just a little bit, and then we'll glue him in with the Fabrifix. I'm going to put him right back here, just in the background. All right, so I'm also going to take the little December 25, and we're going to put this on the wall with some more of our Fabrifix. Put this back here, just off to the side a little bit. And then we have our little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer book, which I think we're going to just stick up on top of the... I think we'll stick that right up on top. Where do we want to put it? We could lay it down on top of the gifts, or we could put it, let's lay it down on top of the fireplace. So we're just gonna lay it right there. All right, perfect. Okay, so before I do any more decorating on the inside, which I don't know if I have a whole lot more I want to do on the inside, I have this little miniature garland with these little miniature bulbs on them. And I want to hang this across the top of my box, kind of just hanging down, taking up some of this blank space up here. So I'm going to use my hot glue, and just on the outside of the box, I'm going to put some glue on each corner, and then I'll put my garland into the glue. And I'll do the same thing over here, just on the corner of the box, a little bit of glue. Now this is going to get hidden by garland, some more garland, so it's okay if you see it. If it's like clumps of glue or anything, that's all going to get hidden behind tinsel. I'm going to go back around the outside edge of my box with some silver tinsel. Now I think I have just enough to go all the way around my frame here, and I'm going to use my hot glue. I'm going to just go around the white portion right here with my garland and my hot glue. Okay, so down at the bottom here, I don't want to hide this Trim a Home label because I think it's really cute. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the garland on both sides of the label so that it still shows through just a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to take just a few last little pieces of my ephemera that I have here. I have the little tricycle, and I have the little jack-in-the-box and the set of drums, and I'm going to just glue these to the outside on the front bottom of my tinsel. So just a little hot glue to glue these down. That's really cute there. The little jack-in-the-box, I think I'm going to put behind the box a little bit. So just, I'm going to put a little strip of glue at the bottom and just kind of tuck that right behind the front of the box. So it's kind of peeking out in front of those gifts, but still kind of behind the label. And then the little drums, we'll put the little drums maybe right here on the front, kind of in front of our little toy soldier. So I'll put a little glue right on the front. I don't want to, again, cover up that Trim a Home, but all right. So this is all looking really good. Now I was planning on putting a Santa Claus down here because I have this guy, but I think it's too much. So I can use him in another project. Now I'm going to start working on the top of the box and decorating the top of the box. All right, so I just grabbed a handful of, this is stuffing for, or batting for pillows or whatever. I have a whole bunch of it. It's perfect for snow. And we're going to put a little bit of this just across the top of this box right here. So I'll just glue this down with hot glue. Put that across the top. I'm just going to do, like I said, just little kind of bits of this and set that into the hot glue. I don't want too much, but I want it to cover enough of the top. Just like that, almost like it's snow on the roof of the house. All right, perfect. Okay, so that little plastic Santa that I had actually sits in this sleigh perfectly. So I sat him in there. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue just on his legs where he touches the sleigh. I stuffed a little bit more snow down into that sleigh, and then we're gonna glue that sleigh right to the top of our box. All right, and then the little reindeer that come with the kit, I'm also gonna glue on the top of this. I'm gonna put a little hot glue, and we'll glue that we'll glue them kind of just to the top of this little snow, kind of prancing across the snow, pulling that magical sleigh. And there's 4 of them, 4 different ones, so you can kind of play around with where they go up top. All right, so I'm just about done. I'm just gonna add in a couple little pieces of vintage greenery. I'm gonna add one right at the top up here. I'm gonna put another one down here on this bottom, but I wanted to use this little star. Let me set that down. I wanted to use this little star that we didn't use for the tree topper. So I'm going to just clip off the hook because it was supposed to be on a little hook. We'll just clip that off. And I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on the end, and we're going to put it up in Santa's hand, like he's holding onto the star, which is really cute. Cute little touch. Okay, and then last but not least, again, like I said, I'm just going to put this little piece of greenery down here, just like that. And then our piece is just about done. All right, guys, here it is. It is adorable. It came out so cute. You could set this on a buffet table. You could set this up on your mantle, but just the detail in here is adorable. I love the use of all of the vintage paper items that came from the vintage book. And I just think this is such a cute, nostalgic decorating piece. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, you can get this kit in my Etsy shop. The link will be in the description below. And make sure to subscribe, like this video, and stick around for my next holiday DIY. I have more to come. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.